Well, here it is. A lot of people have been waiting for this car, the G70 from Genesis. Of course, this is the luxury brand of Hyundai. The car brand on its own has only been out for a couple of years, and this is now in the meat of the compact premium car space. A lot of established players. BMW 3 Series, Mercedes C-Class, Audi A4, just to name a few. And Genesis is hoping with the packaging of this car and the way they sell cars, they're going to bring people to their brand. So what is Genesis doing differently? First and foremost, the way you buy the car is totally different. You can order it online, they deliver it to your home. They don't actually have dealers, they have agents that work on behalf of Genesis to sell you the car directly. So this is a car that starts at $42,000 in the Canadian marketplace and goes up to $57,500 for the fully loaded twin-turbo V6. Now, those that follow the car industry, you know that Kia, Hyundai, and Genesis are all pretty much owned by the same company. And yes, this has some similarities with the Stinger. However, it's quite a bit smaller. It's 6 inches shorter than the Kia Stinger, doesn't have a hatchback design, and it's designed to be more performance-oriented. The Stinger is more grand touring car. Wheel sizes on this car start at 18 inches, they go up to 19 inches, and I think the styling is really quite athletic, especially from the back. They've got staggered wheels, they're a little bit wider at the back, the quarter panels look nice. It's a good looking car. More mature looking than the Stinger that has some plastic parts put on it. I think this is a very cohesive design. So I'm here in sunny Quebec. Mont Tremblant is known for skiing and also for a racetrack. That's right, we're taking it out on the track. So the car we have for the first part of the day is the one that's probably going to sell the most, and that is the 4-cylinder turbo. If you look at all the other players in this space, the mainline car is the 4-cylinder turbo, and this one has good power. 252 horsepower, exactly the same as the Audi A4, but more than the Mercedes-Benz C-Class and more than the BMW 3 Series. And on size, this car is closest to the C-Class from Mercedes-Benz. As I mentioned, it's quite a bit smaller than the Stinger, so it really isn't a great comparison to cross-shop those two cars. The nice thing of the packaging with this car is they have a really nice looking sport model that's available with the 4-cylinder or the optional 3.3 liter turbo 6-cylinder, and that's the one we're going to get a chance to drive on the track. So how does this base 2-liter feel? It's actually quite crisp. It doesn't have an adaptive suspension. It does have different settings, drive mode, so you can put it in sport. You even have custom settings, but it doesn't change the suspension. In order to get that, you do need to upgrade to the larger V6 engine. But I would say the passive shock absorbers in this model, it's a really nice combination of comfort and sportiness. Handling is good and sure-footed. This base model is also available with a manual. That's right, a rear-wheel drive manual. There's only one trim that has the manual transmission. It's kind of the stripped-down base model. All of the other G70s get standard all-wheel drive that has the ability to shift 100% of the power at low speeds, either to the front or to the back, for better traction in snowy or wet conditions. At higher speeds, it can shift 90% of the power to the back for better driving dynamics. So this is a rear-wheel drive bias all-wheel drive system to give you that European handling that people expect. Now, while we're on the way to the track, I want to talk about the interior in this car. You can get so many different combinations of colors, seat patterns, stitching. You can get striped seats, you can get diamond seats, you can get different colored stitching with those diamond seats, and there's even an almost all-white interior that has green on the door cards and the top of the dashboard, if that's your thing. So it can be quite elegant and simple, or really quite wild depending on your taste. The head unit on the dash is 8 inches, but it's got that tablet style where it's mounted onto the dashboard. We're seeing that more and more. There is no controller here, but you see some really nice switches to get into all of the things quickly that you want to access, from your radio to maps and so on. Every car but the base model comes with navigation, but all cars come with Android and Apple, so you can integrate your smartphone. But actually, when you strip away the wow factor of the seats, the interior dash is really quite simple. And one area where some of the other brands are excelling is the instrument cluster that is fully digital. Now, you do get a large screen in the middle between the TAC and the Speedo, but you don't get that full dashboard that has a digital panel, like a digital cockpit from Audi. That's not in this car. Some people will like that, like me, and others will be wanting that. Now, I have said many times about Hyundai and Kia and now Genesis is when you get into these cars, the way that all of the pieces fit in the car is really second to none. You'd have a hard time finding something better than this from any brand. Just the way that the handles and the frame fit inside the door cards, the switches on the dash, everything is absolutely perfect. So you are getting what you pay for with this car, but it trickles down to lower price models in the associated family as well. And that's a great thing from these Korean brands. All right, I got my hands on the 2-liter manual. So as I mentioned, the only car that gets the manual transmission is this 2-liter, and it's rear-wheel drive only. And we're doing an autocross course here, and you can tell right away with less weight through the car that it's going to handle better. And it is a nicely balanced car. And that's the thing about this class, is that, you know, there are a lot of good drivers in this class. And this one, I think, is it's got a lot of grip. It's got Michelin Pilot Sport 4 tires, so I think that the grip is excellent. That's really invigorating. That's a lot of fun. I hit one cone. Do I lose time?
We're going to time you. We're going to do it again.
Why?
We're going to do a redo because we had a technical...
a technical issue. Oh, good. I get extra...
deficiency.
I overcooked one corner, so I get another shot. Anytime?
Yep.
This job doesn't suck. Here, have a car. Go around as fast as you can. Just don't hit anything. Now the engine doesn't snap, okay? It's a nice progressive engine, but it's not snap your head back. There you go. Onto the racetrack now. Onto the racetrack.
35.14.
Okay. Is that good or bad?
That's good. That's good. That's good.
35.14. That's good, I hear.
Yep. Yeah.
So if I'm 35.14, where do I place?
At the moment first.
Oh, I'm first right now.
Oh, second, sorry.
Oh, can I go again? I'm second? Who's ahead of me?
Mr. Hunting.
Oh, Benjamin Hunting. He goes to the racetrack all the time. All right, maybe we'll try again later.
All right, guys, we'll be heading on the racetrack. Just follow me. As a reminder, the first 2 laps will be slower. I'll be showing you the track.
So as we head out on the track, this is not my ideal seating position. With this big fat helmet on, I can't sit up the way I'd like to, which is too bad. But anyway, heading out on the track with the 3.3-liter turbo, before we get up to any speed, 365 horsepower, and this is an all-wheel drive, so all but the manual car that I had on the autocross are all-wheel drive.
All right, so follow me. Keep 4 to 5 lengths in between each other.
You know what? I've been doing this for a long time, and there have been many, many different car programs here at Mont Tremblant, but I've never been able to make it. So this is my very first time on this famous course, and it's a real GP circuit, lots of undulations, elevation changes.
Make sure that you stay off the cone, so don't touch the cone, please.
So this is a rear bias all-wheel drive system, which enables you to get 90% of the power to the rear wheels, and it can even uncouple the front wheels at steady speeds.
Stay close together.
Now, the other cars have drive modes, you know, comfort, eco, sport. But when you get the sport and you get the all-wheel drive, you also get adaptive shocks, which go from, you know, comfortable for potholes all the way up to firm for this kind of application. Now, I guarantee you G70 owners are not going to be going to the racetrack, but to know that it can is kind of fun. Now, I have to draw the comparison between this and the Stinger. I know Genesis doesn't like us talking about that car, but I found that suspension too soft for that car. It was nice and comfortable, a great touring car, but not sporty in my opinion. So this car is anywhere from 160 to 400 lighter than the Stinger, and you definitely can feel it in this setting, driving it on the track. The other thing is following the other cars here on the track, you're doing a follow the leader situation, you can hear the instructor, is that it's certainly from the back has a C-Class kind of look to it with those tail lights, and that's pretty good company. That's one of my favorite cars in this class. So has this impressed me? Yeah, well, anytime you get to go on the racetrack and have some fun, it's great, but we don't have anything here to compare it to. So you'd really need to do a back-to-back, but overall the impressions are good. The engine is strong. It's got all the technology that you expect in this kind of class, and it seems to be doing an admirable job. I gotta tell you, the tires are fantastic. These Michelin tires that they put on here really are fantastic. So that makes a difference for sure. What do I think of the G70? Well, I think that they've got a compelling package here for a first compact sport sedan. I think they've done a good job. This brand obviously does not have the history of the other brands, and that is their biggest hurdle. They are an unknown brand to a lot of people, but after driving this car for the day, should it be considered? Should you try it out? Well, yeah, and there's another big reason why, and I'll tell you about that now. You can always tell from a car company what they think of their car, where they hold the event. The fact that they're holding the G70 Genesis launch here at Mont Tremblant says a lot about what they think of this car. So what's the biggest differentiator with Genesis over other brands, and how are they getting people in to try these cars? It's all in pricing. When you buy one of these cars, starting the base model at $42,000, all the way up to the top trim at $57,000, it's all in pricing. No freight, no PDI. The only thing is you choose the car and you pay the taxes. And you get 5 years of coverage, 5 years of warranty, 5 years of maintenance is included, and they'll even valet it and bring it to your home. So that is an attractive proposition for people who don't want to haggle. They just want to know the price and get their car and have everything covered for 5 years. G70, they believe, is a sports compact luxury sedan. We don't have the other brands here to do a direct comparison, but it does everything that they said it would do, and it was very comfortable. It's got a nice interior, it's got nice technical equipment, and it is a car that I think you should try. If you're in the market with the competitive set, it's worth your time to get somebody to valet the car to your house, take you for a test drive, and then you can decide for yourself.